On January 26, Reuters reported that 14 Russian tankers carrying more than 10 million barrels of Sokol oil from the Sakhalin-1 project were blocked off the coast of South Korea. The material says that the ships were stuck in the South Korean port for weeks due to American sanctions and payment problems. But why do they deny everything in Russia and even Korea itself? Recently, Reuters, citing the London Stock Exchange Group and Kpler, began disseminating information that 14 Russian tankers with oil worth $1 billion have been docked off the South Korean coast for several weeks. The tankers are said to have been arrested by Seoul and, of course, parallels are drawn with how the United States confiscates Iranian ships and sells the oil obtained in this way. In addition, it is known that these tankers were not heading to South Korea itself, and some consumers encountered difficulties due to the fact that the oil did not arrive to them on time. Does Korea really want to create a casus belli, or can a respected publication pursue slightly different goals other than establishing the truth? We decided to wait for details on the topic, and for good reason. A couple of days later, refutations began to appear. According to tracking systems, there is not even such a concentration of Russian ships off the South Korean coast. It soon became clear that of the 14 tankers listed by Reuters, only 8 visited South Korea, and even then at different times. And on January 29, Korean government agencies jumped in and refuted the publication's statements. According to the Maritime and Port Logistics Information System, PortMIS, on the 28th, only one of the mentioned tankers, Nyrita, was in the ports. At the same time, Russian tankers have indeed become frequent guests in South Korea. In 2023, oil ships called at ports 153 times, which is 50% more than a year earlier. At the same time, the number of visits by tankers from other countries has increased, in particular to India, which is almost the main consumer of Russian oil today. Therefore, it is possible that South Korean ports are used not only to purchase Russian oil directly for the needs of South Korea itself, but also to transship raw materials to other countries, to India, for example. There is a version that the Sakhalin oil, the tankers from which Seoul allegedly captured, was intended for the Indian Oil Corporation. Probably, the mouthpiece of American opinion wanted to draw the attention of South Korea to the fact that Washington knows everything about the adventures of Russian tankers off its coast, and also to tickle the bear's whiskers. And despite the fact that many culinary channels began to pump up the stunning news, don't ask what cooking has to do with it. It turned out that the news really happened, but, as they say, there is a nuance. So the Russian Consulate General in South Korea has not heard anything about idle tankers. No one contacted the Consulate General with this question, the department reported.